There are people who walk through the world with a strange kind of quiet intensity. People who don't just notice a tone of voice, they absorb it. People who don't simply feel an emotion, they carry it like weight in their chest, long after everyone else has moved on. And if you're one of them, you already know the experience well. The way a single offhand comment can echo in your mind for hours. The way joy can feel electric, but disappointment can burn for days. The way you can watch a friend's face for 5 seconds and understand more than they ever say out loud. On the outside, nothing looks unusual. You function. You work. You talk. But inside, there is a constant stream, a depth of perception and emotional detail that never fully quiets. To most people, feelings are weather, passing conditions. To you, they feel more like climate, long-lasting, atmospheric, shaping everything you walk through. And maybe you've asked yourself a question you've never dared to say out loud. Why do I feel everything so deeply, when others seem untouched? Why does the world enter me more strongly than it enters them? Keep that thought close, because this video is about your world, the world of those who always feel too much. The people who grow up believing something is wrong with them, not knowing that what they carry is actually a powerful emotional radar that few others possess. The core question. So today we're going to explore the central psychological question behind this. Why do some people feel emotions deeper than everyone else? And is that sensitivity a gift, a burden, or something in between? Deep psychological unpacking. To understand this kind of emotional intensity, we need to look beneath the surface, not at behavior, but at the mechanism that creates it. You're not just sensitive. This isn't about being dramatic, or weak, or unstable, though many deeply feeling people have been called those things. What you're experiencing begins with the body itself. Some people are born with a hyperactive nervous system, one that registers sensations, emotions, and social cues with unusually high resolution. Imagine having speakers permanently turned slightly louder than everyone else's. Nothing is wrong with the sound, but everything comes through more vividly. This heightened sensitivity is often paired with deep emotional empathy. Your brain doesn't simply observe another person's emotion, it mirrors it. It recreates it inside you. This is why someone else's sadness can linger in your chest long after they've forgotten the conversation. And because emotions hit harder, the psyche develops avoidance patterns. Not because you fear people, but because constant emotional absorption is exhausting. You might withdraw from conflict even when you're right. Not because you're passive, but because you know how overwhelming the aftermath will feel. Small interactions that others shrug off can feel like waves crashing into you. And over years, this builds a private world of emotional overwhelm, one that few people ever see, because you've learned to hide it. In friendships and relationships, this can create misunderstandings. You're not overreacting. You're reacting with a nervous system that experiences emotional data at full volume. You feel the subtext behind a sentence. You notice the slight shift in someone's posture. You detect tension before anyone else realizes there's a problem. To you, emotions are information. To others, they're noise. And that difference creates a lifelong sense of being too much, too intense, too emotional, too affected. But the truth is much simpler. Your depth is not excessive. It's simply different. Narrative layering. To understand where this sensitivity begins, we need to trace it back to its roots. For many deeply feeling people, the emotional radar formed early, often in childhood. Maybe you grew up in a home where moods shifted quickly, and you learned to scan for emotional changes as a survival strategy. Maybe you were the peacekeeper, the one who sensed tension before it erupted, the one who softened your voice, adjusted your behavior, anticipated everyone's needs. Maybe you had to grow up faster emotionally because someone else in your environment couldn't. This creates what psychologists call hypervigilant empathy, an emotional alert system that stays active, even when you're an adult and no longer in danger. But it also creates another layer, confusion about your own emotions. When you're constantly tuned into everyone else, it becomes hard to distinguish what you actually feel. So you become quiet. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you're filtering every word through a long chain of emotional awareness. You become thoughtful. Not because you're detached, but because you're processing more information than anyone realizes. You become exhausted in social settings. Not because you dislike people, but because your mind is tracking every shift, every expression, every unspoken signal in the room. Over time, deeply feeling people develop a private, internal world, rich, heavy, reflective. To others, you seem calm. Inside, it's a constant motion of impressions, memories, interpretations, and meanings. And this leads to a profound psychological contradiction. You feel more than others, yet often struggle to feel understood. This is the loneliness of emotional depth. Not being alone, but being unmirrored. Key psychological insight. Here's the moment many deeply feeling people never hear. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a form of intelligence. Emotional intelligence isn't just empathy. It's perception. It's pattern recognition. It's the ability to detect nuance, motive, tension, and meaning without needing words. What feels like too much is often a sign of a nervous system designed for connection, creativity, and insight. People who feel deeply often understand relationships on a level others cannot, detect dishonesty instinctively, make meaning out of complexity, see the emotional landscape of a moment with clarity, experience beauty more profoundly, love with intensity and loyalty, communicate with subtlety and depth. This is not fragility. This is comprehension. But because the world often values productivity over perception, speed over reflection, and emotional neutrality over emotional nuance, you grow up believing that your intensity is something to be hidden, when in reality it is something to be managed, shaped, and understood, not discarded. Practical reflection. So what does this mean for you? Not advice, but recognition. Deeply feeling people often try to fix themselves, to toughen up, to shut down, to be less affected, less emotional, less intuitive. But that only creates inner conflict. Instead, the deeper work is understanding that your emotional depth needs structure, not suppression. You may always feel more. You may always process more. You may always care more. But that doesn't make you fragile. It makes you responsive. Your task is not to become less sensitive, but to become more anchored. To build inner boundaries that allow you to stay open without drowning. To let emotions move through you instead of building inside you. To understand that your intensity is not a burden to carry alone. It is a signal that your inner world has dimension, depth, and meaning. Think about it this way. If you were given high vision, you wouldn't try to see less. If you were given high hearing, you wouldn't try to hear less. Sensitivity is simply perception turned inward. And with time, it becomes wisdom. Soft but resonant closing. So if you've ever been told you're too intense, too emotional, too sensitive, or too much, I want you to remember something. People can only understand you at the depth at which they understand themselves. And if you feel more than others, it doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you difficult. And it certainly doesn't make you broken. It makes you human, profoundly, deeply human. If you feel more, It doesn't make you broken. It makes you profoundly human.